Welcome everybody, it's Burner, and I thought we would do something kind of fun, at least for me, kind of testing tips that creators are putting out just to see how well they work. The one we're going to be doing in this video is basically using Plunder and contracts to help level up new weapons. I specifically saw this strategy watching a video by JGOD. I really like watching his stuff for sort of really technical, informative videos. He does quality work. If you don't know who he is and haven't seen his stuff, one, I'd be surprised, but two, you should really check him out. I'll put his information down in the description here. But he puts out all kinds of good strategy videos and just informative stuff. He's always staying up to date with the game and putting out things on new weapons, nerfs, buffs, any changes to any of the gameplay. So just great stuff. You should really check them out. So step one, get a vehicle. You can see here I got a helicopter. I recommend the helicopter as often as you can. It's obviously the fastest, most maneuverable. You can fly by sight. You don't have to depend on any clear line as far as the road. This is going to help us get around the map quickly. And now we're picking up contracts. We're picking up supply runs. One, because they're very fast to complete, especially with the vehicle. And two, they don't give away our position or kind of put us at risk of enemies knowing that we're coming. Another thing recommended, you saw I just threw a trophy on top of the helo. Your Plunder class, field upgrade, throw a trophy on there. You want a little bit of extra protection. Your initial spawn, you'll spawn with the trophy ready, so the first vehicle you hit, you can throw it on there. And then if later, if it gets used up because people are, shooting rockets or throwing things at you, you can, replace it. Or, as it does happen a lot of the times, if your vehicle just gets too damaged and you need to move on to another one, you can grab it. As you can already see, working on the second one already, it's moving pretty quickly. I'm opening boxes largely just for XP and sort of because it's muscle memory from playing, but it's not really adding anything as far as getting the weapon upgraded any faster. And we're already moving on to the second one. There's really nothing more detailed about it. It's pretty straightforward. Get contract, complete contract. It'll work for any contract, but again, these supply runs, it should be pretty evident already the fastest way to do it. I don't have to rely on getting any engagements and possibly dying. I don't have to rely on movement to a recon and kind of standing in one place where my position's being given away. I don't have to worry about a scav and kind of running around picking up a little bit of money at a time. Scavs are really nice for money, but compared to a supply run with the vehicle, they're very slow. But pretty straightforward. Get contract, complete contract as fast as possible. And because of that, most of this will just be things that I found help me navigate a little faster. There you can see I'm just marking multiple scabs as I go along to kind of keep me aware of where the next one might be at, depending on where the buy station is that I tend to run to. That kind of help me from opening up the map quite as often, but also so I'm looking at the map a little bit more often and I'm aware of where multiple contracts are at. That way, once I pick up or once I complete a contract, I'm basically up and in the direction where I know there were more contracts already, and kind of just helping my movement be a little bit faster as much as possible, just limiting time outside of the helicopter. So hopping in, grabbing it, straight out a window or whatever is closest. I believe in this case, sometimes when enemies are nearby, there's a little bit of that tendency to kind of want to stick in and fight it out. But if you can get in, grab your contract, get back in your hero, and pull out. The goal here is just getting XP as fast as possible. Another thing, and this will kind of come with practice, if you don't use vehicles a lot or you don't use the helicopter a lot, and you're basically using it for big movements, doing this is going to help you pilot so much better, because you will find that staying low and staying fast is going to help you complete these quicker, which you might not normally do. Usually if you're in just regular BR, you might kind of go high, put yourself at a distance from any enemy fire, making any shots that do hit do less damage. But the problem with that, with this strategy is, there's all that time it takes to descend. And so, depending on how the terrain is when you approach, I mean, it can take 5 or 10 seconds to get down to the point where you can safely land and get out of the helicopter. Whereas if you're low already, it'll only take you a couple seconds. And I know that doesn't seem like much, but in a 15-20 minute match of Plunder where you're doing, maybe double-digit contracts, it can add up to a couple minutes, which will help you get, additional contracts, which as you complete them, are going to be worth, 750, maybe even 1,000 weapon XP, which is huge, really huge. I don't think I've said it, but this is really a strategy. I would say predominantly for people playing the free version of the game that don't have multiplayer, or in the past have had to rely on the free multiplayer weekends to kind of level up weapons. If you don't have multiplayer where you can kind of grind regularly to get your weapons leveled up and your attachments unlocked, that's the big thing here, right? Getting our weapon fully upgraded so that we have attachments that we can take in to Warzone and make them more viable. And so if you're a free-to-play player in Warzone, this is a great strategy for leveling your weapons quick. And then basically, to cut to the chase and throw out the spoilers over the rest of this video, it is faster than multiplayer. Obviously, you won't be completing any camo challenges, so if you're like a completionist camo guy, like me, usually a new weapon comes out, I'll grind it, get Damascus, and then move on. Even if that's the type of player you are, this is fast enough, I feel like, that you can do this and not feel like you're wasting time getting kills, because when you do go to get kills, your weapon's going to be fully uploaded and you're going to start getting credit for every challenge at once. Obviously not, you'll have to choose between the 5 attachments versus no attachments, but for everything else, long shots, headshots, if it has mounted stuff or anything like that, you'll be getting credited from it, basically from the first moment you start using the gun. And so I think it'll help completion depending on how well you are at this strategy and how fast you're able to snag up contracts. If you're getting a good amount of contracts in each match, it's going to be faster, I think, even for camo completionists as well. I'm opening up the map here just to see where my target buy station is. One downside when you're doing this fast, midway through the match, you're going to have so many yellow dots on the mini-map because you have all these buy stations where you have, free self-revive, reduced purchase at, that it's a little hard to tell at a glance where your target is. And another thing, because so many times contracts that are nearby will target the same buy station, once it's yellow, it'll sort of hide the active marker for contract completion. So sometimes I just had to open up the mini-map to get eyes on and get a better look at where my target was, but still the same thing. Get it there, go as fast as possible, tap it. I'm looking around here because I wasn't sure where they were. If you're lucky and you don't have people competing for the supply runs, you can really knock out a lot. It's pretty easy to hit double digits if you can get a helicopter and make your way around the map. I did have some matches where other people were obviously doing the same strategy. They were just dueling helicopters flying around, trying to snag these contracts up as quick as possible. Again, try not to get super high. Kind of one of the problems of pushing over down is that the terrain doesn't let you get too much above ground level anyway. So I'm trying to get high enough that I feel safe to open up my map and not really maneuver, because I'll be flying in a straight line and kind of targeting things up. And you can already see trying to descend already, come down as quick as possible, and position. Like I talked about earlier, getting shot there, but I don't even care about this gunfight. Helo took a little bit of damage landing, and I mean that's just kind of how the breaks are with this strategy, or just relying on vehicles in general. pick it up, kind of look around, try and make the move. Anytime my helo went down, I'm instantly trying to look for a vehicle that I can hop on. You know, luckily somebody decided to park this rover here for me. Again, I had a trophy ready, bad throw, bounced to the ground, but we're just going to keep moving on. Eventually, my trophy will be reset. I'll throw a new one on it. But yeah, anytime the helicopter's down, don't give up. I don't recommend backing out. You can still do these fairly quickly by vehicle. Rover specifically, just because they're kind of that nice in-between between speed and durability and a little bit of protection. And, you know, depending on your driving, you can get through the maps pretty quick if you know them well. And, you know, it's another thing that's going to help you drive well. Just like the helicopter, anytime you can, don't even get out of the vehicle. In that situation, I basically just pulled up, get within that radius, and keep moving on. Again, looking at the map, trying to get an idea of where contracts still exist, marking a couple, trying to move to the closest one safely. You know, obviously, if I'm going through straight on and I run into a squad, I'm going to turn around. Plunders or quads now at the moment with this new season. I just did no fill, partly because I didn't want to get matched up with some randoms and have people picking up contracts I didn't want, right? Like, I don't want somebody to randomly pick up a bounty when I'm trying to do these super quick supply runs. And at the same token, I don't want to be in a squad and not be helping them do my own thing. Got lucky here. Somebody wanted to land a helo up there. It's got a little bit of life. I'm taking off and kind of moving on. And, you know, that's kind of how it works sometimes. Your helo will go down, but stay in the game because you'll still be able to complete more. It'll be faster than waiting, you know, 3 to 5 minutes to get into a new lobby anyway. And sometimes fighting for a helo. You know, one of the problems is kind of getting that initial helicopter to get these things started. Sometimes you'll be competing with multiple people trying to get the same ones. You saw me throw a C4. Again, if you guys don't watch JGOD, another video he did was how you can attach C4 to your vehicle and detonate it from there and it won't injure the vehicle. You can get splash damage on yourself though. And especially depending on if you're running into another vehicle, you can take damage from that explosion. So I did have some instances where I'd either get cracked or even downed. And so not a huge problem because with this, obviously, you have a number of free self-revives when you complete a contract. Just make sure you're picking them up. And usually, anytime I used it, I would down the entire other team. And if they're not doing supply runs or they're not rolling through a lot of cash, they might not have self-revive. So I usually had time to pick myself up and either clean them up or, you know, kind of just move on about my business. But yeah, the C4, I throw it on my vehicle just in case I'm running by somebody. Again, with this strategy, I'm not looking to get into gunfights and get weapon XP by getting kills because I'm going to get far more weapon XP if I can knock these contracts out faster. But if I'm driving through and I run into somebody very close to where I'm going and I have that C4 on, I'll just double tap it and blow it up and try and get some cheap kills along the way.
Anybody need this?
Get to the target.
Anybody need this? Anybody need this? Anybody need this? I'll give it a go. Let's fly.
another tip, obviously pay attention to your helicopter's health. You can see, anytime I'm in the red, I'm being a little bit more gingerly with it. I think I probably could have just landed right on that buy spot, but part of me thought I might clip that wall and trying to keep the helo as long as possible. You do get some minor damages from really silly things. So pay really close attention to your health, especially if you ran through a few areas where you're getting a lot of pop shots at you. It'll get pretty weak pretty quick. You can see there, good view of marked scabs. Basically, at this point, rinse and repeat. Pretty good flow going on with this one. As far as picking them up, we only had that one helo drop so far, and had to switch over to the rover. So moving around pretty quickly, pretty ideal with what you want. One thing I haven't talked about yet: squads. Running this with team members, you can make this faster. I'm doing it solo in this mainly because at the time I was doing it, I didn't have anybody on to run it with. But if you have even one other person, where you can be dropping out of the helo to pick up contracts, or even if you both have helos and one's picking up the contract, another one's flying to the buy, while the one that picked up the contract is going to another contract, so that as soon as you complete contract, you're starting another one and basically leapfrogging contract, buy spot, contract, buy spot. I would not be surprised if you could knock out 20 of these in a match, if there's that many on the map. I honestly don't know how many spawned or how random the tolerance is with the number of specific contracts, but I could easily see knocking out 20 with help. Obviously, if you go up to a quad, it's just giving you a little bit more survivability in any sticky situations, and just maneuverability as far as getting these things done quickly. My problem here, it's a little late in the match. We're running out of contracts that are available, and I know an enemy is up here. I heard the sniping from down low. Tried to put that precision up that I just randomly picked up from a box to get him off, and didn't get any hits. And now as I'm coming up to the top, I see another helicopter land. I initially don't know if it's somebody in his team, because again, this is quads, but then I can tell that it's basically a third party. Kind of camping here, looking at my play. My helicopter just blew up. There's not a lot of supply runs left, and I kind of decide, well, let's just gun it out and see what happens. So I'm kind of just playing it slow, trying to pick up some information. I see my sniper there. I know this other guy's coming. And again, I think at this point I don't have any attachments on my JAK 12, or maybe it's just the mag, maybe it's just the drum mag, I'm not sure, but you can tell from how it's going, not super upgraded yet. And now not only did we get a couple cheap kills, we picked up a supply run, we didn't have to go somewhere else, but this nice gentleman brought us a helicopter, and it's full health. So it kind of works out to our better all the way around, because we got a couple kills, some bonus XP there. We picked up a supply run that we were going for anyway, and now we're just, business as usual. Like I said, rinse and repeat. Attack chopper, never fun. Kind of fly under, but he was focused on somebody else. Kind of the same thing here. I'm playing it safe with my helicopter damage, because we've already blown up 2. It's late in the game, and there's probably not going to be too many more. That guy tried to blow me up. Didn't work out, but he took a lot of health out of my helicopter, which sucks. But also means there's one less helicopter on the map. It is in overtime, so there's not a lot left in the match, but try and maximize your use of helicopters and the available supply runs as quickly as possible. I at first thought this one may have just, my ping might have fallen off, but then I saw it came off the mini-map too, and here I'm going to use a C4, and you can see the vehicle blew up, but I think it was because I hit the ground and it was so low health. and obviously I got downed in result, but got that guy too. But that was basically me double tapping the C4. C4 blew up the other guy's vehicle, and then I think my helicopter hit the ground too hard is the reason the helicopter blew up. But that's a great video too, guys. If you don't, you should really check out JGOD. Check out the one on C4s and vehicles. Again, really well put together, really informative, very analytical and smart, and a lot of cool just tips and tricks, strategies to take into the game. Overtime's running out. I don't think I'm going to get to anything else. You know, I'm looking there for vehicles. I'm looking for the supply run. I think I know my problem there is that that supply run that's close is going to be rooftop. And at this point, I'm not really expecting to get another one completed. I'm kind of just running through the motions and kind of just training myself in the strategy, which I recommend doing. You know, keep practicing trying to be as efficient as possible with movement, because things will happen. You know, your helicopter is going to blow up. You'll have a situation like this where you need to keep moving. You need to find another vehicle. Obviously, if it's super late game like this is, you know, maybe you can back out and kind of jump into one to get things rolling a little bit faster. But I like to kind of just keep going through the motions and hone sort of that skill and that muscle memory of you know, moving through the map, trying to use this strategy.
You evaded the enemy track. Good work.
And that's going to be it for that match. I mean, what, 20-minute match? We'll see how many contracts that was. But you can see how quickly you can move around the map. You can snag these up and complete them. And let's see, mission XP. So it should be equivalent to weapon XP. So 6,250 weapon XP in 20 minutes. I mean, if you can average maybe 30 kills in multiplayer, it'd be something like that. This is another one I tagged on, which is basically me missing out on the helicopter in the initial drop. So I tried to pick up just the first helicopter on the flight path, and somebody beat me to it. So instead of kind of being, you know, disheartened and disgruntled and kind of backing out and trying a new lobby, I just am dropping to the next vehicle. And I think I'm going to run most of this match in a rover, and you'll see it's still pretty clean and pretty fast. It is not as fast as doing it in a helicopter, but you'll see you can still knock out a lot, and even with just using a vehicle, a car, it's faster than multiplayer for most of us. And when I say most of us, I mean if the CDL isn't knocking on your door for recruitment. You know, if you're not that level of player in the top like 5 to 3% of all players, it's going to be more beneficial for you as far as speed of leveling up a new weapon to do this strategy. You'll be able to get better at this strategy quicker than you will at getting your overall COD skills up. I promise you. It really is pretty straightforward. Even though you won't be killing people, to me, it was kind of a fun thing to do. If you've ever played like race games or anything like that, it kind of just made it like a chaotic gauntlet to try and upgrade your gun. You know, every corner, you're basically crossing the map with reckless abandon, and that you know is just full of enemies that have loadouts, right? It's Plunder, so people can drop in with whatever weapon they want. I'm surprised I don't run into more rockets, especially when I have a helicopter. But it's a different kind of fun. It's not really like, you know, first-person shooter Call of Duty fun, but I did enjoy it trying to put these together. You can already see here, we've already knocked out one, we've already picked up a second, and, you know, we're heading to the next buy station. So, like I said, not quite as fast as a helicopter, but it is pretty fast, and it's beneficial unless you're one of those top tier guys and you can just slay in multiplayer, regardless of you know, the map or the objective, and you're just, you know, getting 30 plus kills a game, this is going to be faster. It really is. You get so much XP, and you can do it so quickly. And if you're being smart about it, you know, you don't really have to worry about other people on the map. Like I said, throw a C4 on the front of your vehicle. If you happen to run into somebody, just blow them up. Sometimes that one backfires too, but it'll make it fun. I'll go ahead and let this play out, and I don't know if there's anything too crazy in here. The biggest thing with a car is just knowing the map, right? Having an idea of where the buy station is, what the terrain around the buy station looks like, and what's the best approach, right? So you can see here, when I stop, I'm going to try and angle the car so I'm not having to do any backing up. I know that if I came to that corner, I could get through this building very quickly and efficiently. And then as soon as I hop in the car, I'm just coming straight back. Well, I guess I did back up, but there was nothing like impeding that movement, right? You know, it wasn't face first into the wall of a rock behind me. That's basically just the way I want to move. I'm going straight there. I do check my map a little bit more when I'm in the rover so that I know where the buy station is, whereas in the helicopter I'm kind of just flying to that point until I'm close enough to recognize where it is. So in this case, it probably would have been faster to come on the front side of this hill, you know, on the train station side, but I thought it was going to be kind of more back towards Promenade, where we come from. And I can't say it enough. If you don't have to get out of the vehicle, don't. So just run by, looking on the map for a new spot, and then just pushing straight through. If you don't have good map knowledge, it'll be another plus of doing this. Like, you'll just get a better idea of how to navigate from one side to the other, kind of where the big obstacles are. And if you are moving fast in a vehicle, you know, escaping the gas or maybe pushing towards some sort of contract, chasing down a bounty, it's going to improve those skills too. So not 100% going to be a loss of kind of not being any development with your overall kind of war zone skills. It's just going to give you probably skills in areas that you probably have been lacking in developing. You know, vehicle stuff, moving super quickly and aggressively across the map. So there is some skill set development there too.
Target.
I'm driving.
Great example here of what I mentioned earlier about having your indicators stacked. So you can see the shopping cart's on top, and then my active supply run indicator was below it. So it was a little hard for me to see it first, and it took me a second to figure out where I was supposed to be going, because there's just, you know, too many yellow pings up sometimes. And like I said, when you get a lot of them, eventually you go back to the same place, and so they'll kind of stack and be hard to differentiate without pinging them on the map. And just, again, you're trying to navigate as quickly as possible, so it's worth those couple seconds to really make sure you know where you're going before you start driving, especially at high speed. Now, I could have just ran this one over with the car, but I know I've pretty much exhausted a lot of the supply runs to the south. and you can see I got this one marked over in Boneyard, I think, or oh no, that one's a little further up, Electronic. But I know that pretty much the majority of contracts are north of the train station, so I didn't want to like drive through and feel like I was slowing down to either reverse and back out of that tight position or drive all the way around train station. And so I kind of just set up where I could take that straight line down the tracks and just drop into Boneyard here. So again, knowing what's left on the map, trying to think ahead as you're completing one contract to lead you to the next contract as fast as possible.
Get to the target.
I'm driving.
Contract's done. Your payout limit has increased.
Anybody need this?
Time's running out. Get to the target area.
I'll be driver.
Contract's done. Your payout limit has increased.
Anybody need this?
Time's running out. Get to the target area.
I'll drive.
So in that one, only 4,000 XP. We did 7 contracts, but it was also shorter. It was like maybe 12, 13 minutes maybe. Definitely under the length of the helicopter video I showed. And so it's even in a car. It's very viable. Give it a shot. Go out there and try. If you do, let me know what you think. Comment below. Like I said, check out JGOD. If you're looking at getting better in the game, kind of learning more about strategy, understanding the game more. He is a great source of information. I really can't recommend him enough. See you guys next time.